Welcome back to the third video all about integrating Bufo, that is 5-MeO-DMT. I am so excited for this video because we are talking about my favorite healing modality, breathwork. Now, breathwork I absolutely love because it's how I started on my healing journey. Yes, with plant medicine and psychedelic use throughout my life, I've really been a seeker, if you will, but my intentional healing journey didn't start until I had a breathwork journey. And that breathwork journey was about an hour and a half long of just breathing, no medicine, no nothing else. And I literally felt reborn. I did a whole podcast back on it back in 2019 on my podcast called Soul Seeker. I've talked about breathwork so much and my love for it. In fact, I didn't even get started with plant medicine ceremonies for healing until after breathwork, which my first ceremony was about a week after my first breathwork journey, and that was with Mother Ayahuasca back in the spring of 2019. Now, I am a somatic breathwork practitioner. What does that mean? Basically, I lead people through breathwork journeys anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes or longer of just breathing. However, what we are going to be focusing on today are practical breathwork exercises. We're not getting into the deep work. The breathwork journeys are really about going deep, and that's like when you're releasing the DMT within your body and you might feel reborn, you might feel off planet, all these different type of things. You're relieving not only stress and anxiety from the body, but trauma. Because here's what happens with trauma. It gets stored in the body. Now, if you will, go ahead and visualize a lion. See that lion in the Serengeti? You see it? Now see a herd of gazelles. That lion's going to go chase after that gazelle, or at least one of them. If that lion doesn't get the gazelle, what happens? The gazelle runs off and then it goes kind of like convulses, right? What it's doing is it's removing the trauma from its body. And we can even think about this with infants and toddlers and kids. Temper tantrums, what is that? They are letting the energy move through their body. Because remember, emotions are energy in motion. And if we don't find a way to let that energy move beyond us, then it gets trapped in our cells. It gets trapped in our body, which is why not only Bufo, but plant medicine, but what we're here to talk about today, breathwork is a great modality to really relieve yourself of that trauma that's stored within the body. That is just an overview of breathwork journeys. What we're going to focus on today is a microdose of breathwork. That's the way I like to think about it. And in the first two videos, we did like a very, very light microdose. Before we get into the exercises, I would like to speak a little bit about breathwork. And the first thing that we should know is the difference between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system is rest or digest. This is really to help us with a relaxed state. So if you are feeling a lot of anxiety, if you're feeling stress, if you have trouble sleeping, any of these things at all, it is very important to find ways to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. In addition to breath work, I also recommend yoga nidra, restorative yoga, and yin yoga. All of these practices are longer holds. They're all on the mat, and it's designed to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Vinyasa yoga flow, or most yoga flows, are going to activate the sympathetic nervous system. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is fight or flight. And what you need to know about the sympathetic nervous system is that if you are trying to calm yourself down from whether it's stress, anxiety, or you're having trouble sleeping, you're not wanting to activate the sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system, when we go deep for something like Bufo, where we're releasing trauma, or breathwork journey, is to remove that stored trauma in the body. But for a breathwork microdose, the type of exercises I'm going to show you here in this video, it's great to activate the sympathetic nervous system to give yourself a little boost of energy. All right, so let's go ahead and try out a simple breathwork exercise. And before we do, let's just talk about ways to breathe, because oftentimes we aren't even breathing right. First of all, I'm not even going to get into the tangent that is mouth breathing. If you are a mouth breather and you have trouble breathing through your nose, just go ahead and pause this, write down, it might be called Breath, and the author is James Nestor. Go ahead and read that book, and he'll give you all the reasons why you need to find ways to breathe through your nose as opposed to your mouth. Having said that, we're going to talk about diaphragmatic breathing. Now, this is our first tip. So diaphragmatic breathing is when you inhale and let your belly expand. So go ahead and try it with me. Inhale through the nose. And you see how my chest rises? My diaphragm is expanding. Let's go ahead and do that again. On the inhale, we expand, which is kind of counterintuitive because a lot of us, when we inhale, we are sucking in air through our nose. So we automatically bring our belly in. So we would inhale and go and come in. We don't want that. The more we practice breath work, then it's going to become an automatic habit, and we are starting to reprogram ourselves to breathe properly to diaphragmatic breathing, which is letting the diaphragm expand as you inhale. So once again, inhaling and letting the diaphragm expand. And then on the exhale, bring it to the spine. There we go. Pretty simple. That is the first thing to know, diaphragmatic breathing. The next thing that we will talk about is box breathing. So with box breathing, essentially we're making a box. So with box breathing, we're going to inhale first, we'll hold at the top, and then we'll exhale at the bottom. We hold, and that's one set. And then we'll keep going. So let's go ahead and try it right now. We'll inhale for 3 seconds. Hold at the top. Exhale, belly to spine, shoulders drop. Hold at the bottom. Once again, inhale, 3 seconds up. Hold at the top for 3. Exhale through the mouth. Hold at the bottom. And that is 2 sets of box breathing. Now, oftentimes when people practice box breathing, you'll see 3 or 4 seconds, and it's going to be an even box, meaning even as in inhaling for 3 or 4 seconds, holding at the top for 3 to 4, exhaling for 3 to 4, and then holding for 3 to 4. Now, since we learned earlier about the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, we get to actually apply that. So what you need to know right now is on your inhale, when you inhale through the nose, that's actually stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system. Whereas when you inhale through the mouth, that's going to activate the sympathetic nervous system. Now, for most of us practicing box breathing, we use this modality to activate the parasympathetic nervous system for rest or digest. For that reason, we're inhaling through the nose, and it doesn't really matter if you exhale through the nose or mouth. Personally, I prefer to exhale through the mouth, which is why we did it that way. If you want to add on a little bit more to really help activate parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, then you can expand your exhales to be longer than your inhales. What this would look like is an inhale for 3, hold for 3, and an exhale for 6. So basically what we're doing here is we're having shorter inhales and longer exhales, which is going to help you activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Rest and digest helps before bed. Anytime you're needing more rest, it will be extremely helpful with relieving anxiety and stress. That is box breathing. The final exercise I want to share with you, at least in this video, because this video is not about breath work, it's about how simple breath work exercises can help you to integrate Bufo into everyday life, is somatic breath work microdosed. Now, again, I talked about somatic breath work earlier. I do lead full-on somatic breath work journeys, but for just your everyday purposes, 5 minutes of somatic breath work in this microdose style is enough. It's something that I try to do almost every morning, and it's almost better than coffee, because it gives me a natural energy as it activates the sympathetic nervous system, which gives energy, yet we are not going so deep where it's like being reborn and removing those traumas from the body. It's a nice little way to just start the morning. So how this looks is we're going to inhale and exhale through the mouth for 10 counts, then we're going to hold for 10 seconds. That is one round, and watch me first. Inhale up and hold. So that is one round, and you don't have to put your arms out like that. I'm putting my arms out like that so you can see my diaphragm and you can see the inhales and exhales. Personally, I like to just keep my palms on my lap. If you feel a little lightheaded and dizzy doing this, that is okay. Know that it's a rush of blood going to the brain and you're getting a lot of carbon dioxide that's getting removed, and that is partially the reason why you're getting lightheaded if you are. And for that reason, if you're getting lightheaded, I recommend keeping this at 10 counts. If you want to intensify this, try 20 counts and a hold of 20 seconds, or even 30 counts and a hold of 30 seconds. So together, we are going to do one round of 10 counts. Let's go ahead and find an exhale. Let it out. Inhale up through the nose. Through the mouth, exhale. And let's begin. Inhale up and hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the mouth. Not done yet. Inhale up through the nose. Sip in a bit more air at the top. And through the mouth, let it go. How do you feel? You probably feel more energized. I know I do. I decided to add a little experiment onto the end with an inhale up and holding for 15 seconds and then exhaling through the mouth. It may be too much to remember, so just stick with the 10 counts and 10-second hold. But the reason why I did is so that you can feel what it feels like to inhale up, hold at the top after you've done that microdose of somatic breath work. Because for me, personally, it kind of helps me to just settle and ground back in, especially if you're someone prone to feeling a little bit more disoriented, lightheaded, or some dizziness. It can be very nice on the nervous system to just inhale up and then use those calming breaths, activating the parasympathetic nervous system to get back into your body, to ground back down. So those are my 3 tips on how to use simple everyday breathwork exercises to help you integrate Bufo into everyday life. Once again, switching from mouth breathing to nasal breathing and activating diaphragmatic breathing. Thinking about on your inhales, expanding as opposed to bringing the belly to the spine. Number 2, box breathing. And number 3, the microdose of somatic breathwork. And when you do that somatic breathwork journey, make sure to email me and tell me about your experience, because if you have sat with Bufo and you do that somatic breathwork journey, I would be surprised to hear that you did not end up in a similar place as where you did with Bufo. So as always, use discernment. I'm going to talk about the safety and contraindications before doing that video as well. But that's all I have for you guys right now. I'm sending all my love, and remember, this journey isn't easy. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like, gosh, why did I take that metaphoric red pill? This is too hard. Then reach out to me. Know that you have community, because I am also an integration coach. I'm happy to chat with you. Free, complimentary 15-minute phone calls to hear what's going on in your life, how I can support you. We're all here to support each other. But having said that, I love you. Thank you for being here. So if you're digging this content, just make sure that you're subscribed so you know when future videos are coming out. You can even click that bell so you'll get notified when new videos come out. I have a lot of new stuff coming, education around how to simplify spirituality, more breathwork exercises, visualizations, meditations, and so much more. Thank you for being here. Sending all my love.